Okay, y'all, let's dive into a little bit of a July forecast, okay? Because this is kind of going to be a big month. So let's go. First of all, we have Neptune going retrograde on the 7th, okay? And anytime Neptune goes retrograde, we are going to be rethinking our ideals, rethinking our beliefs. We might have some confusion in our lives, okay? Almost like we feel like what we used to know no longer fits, okay? So be ready and open to receive new revelations around, again, your ideals, your beliefs, things like that. And if you feel like you're getting like heavy into reflection mode during this time, that's why too. And when Neptune goes retrograde, we will have a total of 3 planets in retrograde at that time. Okay. So we're building to a heavy retrograde period coming more towards the end of the year. Now, coming up on July 12th, we have Mercury Cazimi. Okay, so anytime we have a Cazimi in the sign of Mercury, this leads to new understandings, new aha moments, really seeing more clearly our minds, like our mind space, seeing clearly what we need in that area of our lives as well. And of course, we're already going to be in this deep reflection energy because of Mercury being retrograde. Then, of course, on July 14th, we are going to have that new moon in the sign of Cancer. More on that in my new moon video coming later. Then we kind of move into some more explosive vibes. Okay, so explosive vibes already kind of happening this weekend, the weekend of the 4th. Okay. In this little book that I have, it was talking about how we don't need to buy fireworks because the fireworks are going to be happening via the universe. And that is 100% true. Okay. And those vibes are going to continue as we move through July as well. Okay. So on the 15th, after the new moon, we are going to be having this Uranus and Gemini sextile with Neptune in Aries. And now this is like part of a longer series. Okay, this started in 2025. We're going to have 2 more in 2027. And the last time that this happened was in the 60s. Okay, 1966, 1967, and 1968. So big revolutionary shakeups, big revolutionary rebellion coming. And that vibe is going to continue on the 18th when Uranus and Gemini trines with Pluto in Aquarius. Again, adding in this big change energy, this transformation. The last time this happened was in the 1920s. So a whole lot of rebirth energy as well. Like renewed creativity. Okay, so yes, it's going to be explosive. It could be a lot, but trines are usually very comfy. The planets are going to work together. So evolutions in our creativity, evolutions in like who we want to be, evolutions in our revolution, so to speak. So then, July 20th through July 21st, we're going to have a lot of Jupiter and Leo aspects happening. Okay. Jupiter and Leo is going to be trine with Neptune in Aries on July 20th, as well as opposite Pluto in Aquarius on July 20th, and sextile with Uranus and Gemini on the 21st. So again, this is adding in more explosive energy, okay? And explosive in such a way that like initially it might feel very big energy, very, like I said, even explosive, but really it's going to be very change activating. Okay. So we might see protests around this time. We might see a lot of, you know, strikes, things like that. People really standing up for what they believe is right. Okay. And people wanting to innovate our culture because of that. Then on the 23rd, Mercury is going to go direct. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of ease in our mind spaces and our communication. Of course, we're going to have the shadow period afterwards. I know some astrologers say just a week. I like to consider 2 weeks just because that gives us a little more time to be in the vibes, to move out of the vibes, all of that. Then on the 26th, we're going to have the nodes changing. Okay, they are going to move into Aquarius and Leo. Okay, Aquarius North Node, Leo South Node. Okay, so really like our purpose, our focus, our drive is going to be more focused on the collective, more focused on the all, and not so focused on the me, so to speak. Okay, we're going to be thinking about the we, not the me. So, of course, that's going to lead to a lot of vibe changing as well. Okay. So, a lot of change energy coming through this month. All right. A lot of like I said, potentially explosive energy. So the thing is, we don't need to be afraid of the things that are coming up, all right? But we do need to learn how to work through them, all right? We don't need to hide, right? We don't need to hide underneath, or hide our head in the sand or whatever, we need to stay focused. We need to stay engaged. We need to stay aware and pay attention and trust our intuition, trust the vibes. Okay. If we walk into some place and we feel some fuckery, get the fuck out of there. Also happening on the 26th is Saturn retrograde. Okay. So Saturn's going to be going retrograde. So, really, like, asking us to reconsider our restrictions, our limitations, our boundaries, things like that, and really reflecting upon that as well. Like, have we been acknowledging the lesson, or have we been more so ignoring the lesson? Because then on the 29th, we of course have the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And then we also have a Jupiter Cazimi happening opposite of it in the sign of Leo. Okay. So, and these two events are going to peak about 2 hours apart from one another. So, I almost see this as this new revelation around growth that we need, around these understandings, and particularly I feel like this Jupiter Cazimi is going to help us deeper understand what happens or what is happening around the 20th and 21st of the month as well. And of course, more on the full moon as we get closer to it. Okay. So, all this to say, July is a big month. Okay. July is a big month. So, again, stay aware, stay open, stay curious about what is happening around you, what is happening to you, what you're seeing in yourself, what you're understanding, what you're moving through. That curiosity can really keep us in this open space to receive. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to dive deeper into this, I could definitely do like a little mini astrology reading with you. We can go over all of that with you. That is something that I offer, and I would love to dive into that with you. But just as a general overview, you can look to where Aries is in your chart, where Aquarius and Leo are, as well as Cancer. Okay, that is really going to be the big highlights of the month as far as a lot of this goes. Oh, and Gemini as well, because of the Uranus stuff coming up. Either way, let me know if you guys have any questions. I would love to, help explain or better describe what's happening. Either way, I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.